Guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. My name is Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. Today I've got like 2 or 3 interesting stories. I'm not going to read through all of them, but they all kind of have the same thing to do with each other, which is men want traditional women. Men have always wanted traditional women. And in many surveys, I don't have the surveys here, many surveys, women are saying, you know what, I was happier when I was a traditional wife. And if you go back and look at the happiness polls of women over the years, it's been going downhill ever since. And women are taking medications, and women are drinking at higher rates, and women are getting tired of the workforce at higher rates. And we knew this would happen. We knew this would happen because, again, but it's not men. Men invented the washing machine when men weren't washing clothes. And men invented the dishwasher when they were not washing dishes, when it was still primarily women's work. The reason why they did that is to make their wives' lives easier, but they also still wanted to go out and invent and earn the money, but they still wanted the wife at home. Well, you'll like this. Millennial men want 1950s housewives after they have kids. Now, you might be saying, Joker, you put up the wrong thumbnail. This is supposed to be about high-maintenance women. We're going to get there. But I wanted to do this little blurb because really this story is about trashing men. Because they're saying here, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, a new book explores how women are outpacing men in the workforce while also being saddled with a second shift to fulfill household duties. So women want to go out there, they want to earn it, they want to make it, I wanted to do my own thing. And men are like, yeah, that's great, but can you please take care of the household? Because I want my wife to do that. Because that is a value, and I want to make the money, except I can't get a friggin' job because 65% of the college graduates are women. And something else that I found interesting in this article, and because when we talk about these issues, I didn't think I wasn't going to mention this, but now that I'm thinking about it, right here, we talk about this stuff and we're called out all the time for it, but plenty of women opt for the latter. It doesn't matter what they're talking about. What they're talking about is women leaving their men because they're tired of working all day at a job and coming home and being expected to do dishes and housework. And of course, God knows, men never help on that. But they say women are deciding to leave that and get divorced. And they say plenty of women opt for the latter, according to a 2015 study by the American Sociological Association. Women initiate 69% of divorces now. 69% of divorces are now initiated by women, and among college-educated women, it's 90%. But what fascinates me is that these are the women that are leaving because they say the men are not doing what they want. Doesn't that pretty much mean that they can't find a man that will fit their needs or do all the things that they want him to do or provide all the things they want him to do? That sounds to me like high maintenance. That's right. They expect too much from men. But moving in to this article here from 9.com.au, the sinister, I love the adjectives, the sinister truth of the balancing act women face on dating apps, all to ensure a man's comfort. Guys, do you remember all the dating apps when you were on there? Do you remember swiping through and all the women jumping through hoops to make sure that they're just the girl all of the guys would want? They dress kind of conservatively, but they also work real hard to look attractive. They seem demure and pacifist and easy to get along to. Do you remember all those women on the dating apps? Yeah, neither do I. But apparently they think that that's the way it goes. And I got 3 dating profiles of the day that I'm actually going to play here on YouTube that will argue my case that women are not jumping through any hoops anymore, and they're just hey, love me the way I am or shove off. And I didn't pull this up, but there was a Reddit article that I read where a guy said, hey, I went out on a first date and she showed up in sweatpants and a tank top and her hair up in a ponytail, didn't have on any makeup, like she couldn't be bothered to even like put any effort in. And he said all she did is order a meal. We ate. She barely talked while she was on the phone and she bounced. He said, I pretty much feel used for my food, and she didn't even dress up for it. And a lot of guys said the same thing. But again, remember, it's tough on the women, guys. It's all unfair on the women's way. They say the term high maintenance is part of everyday speech, and it usually refers to a woman who places a high value on her personal image, wants, or needs. Now, I do have an article that I'm going to do here at the end, 12 signs she's high maintenance girl, should you date her? And we're going to be talking about this because literally now, and I know I'm a little hyperbolic when I say all women, but I have never dated a woman who isn't like, hey, I want to go out to a fancy restaurant, or I want to go out on a date, or I want you to plan something special for us. And I'm always like, plan it for yourself. Like, why do I have to plan these dates and entertain you? And of course you do if you're a good person. She may make some dates, you may make some dates. But I've never dated a woman that wasn't like, hey, you got to jump through a couple hoops to keep me happy if you want to be in this relationship. And granted, again, that is to be expected to some degree in relationships. However, today, the hoops you have to jump through are getting much more ridiculous and much more numerous. And that's where we start falling into some problems. But they say the often uttered within the context of dating, the implication is the woman in question is too much hard work. An easier, more relatable mate would be preferred. Well, what's hard work when we talk about dating? She costs a lot of money. You have to wait sometimes hours for her to do the makeup. She takes a long time to pick out various clothes. She only wants to be seen in certain venues. She doesn't want to. She doesn't want to exit the house without looking, just a certain way. But the key here is too much hard work. For me, is she's too much hard work. Well, what is hard work? Now she spends too much time on her phone. She takes pictures of all her food before she takes a bite of it and has to post it to social media. She's got an image to upkeep to a bunch of strangers over the internet. They say rarely, if ever, do we come across the term high maintenance man. On dating app, users make split-second decisions relying on profile pictures to guide them. In my research into dating apps and straight matches, I found men sought to portray themselves as handsome, muscular, tanned, even in their profile shots to attract more matches. Yeah, I think that's natural. Conversely, women sought to portray themselves against a cultural idea. Women looked to develop profiles which conveyed them as not high maintenance. Wait a minute. I will disagree with you wholeheartedly on that one. Very rarely, most of them have grocery shopping lists of what the men need to bring, and a ton of them come in literally asking for the cha-ching. They ask for the cash. Let me make sure I have the right button up, because let's do a dating profile. Let's talk about this right here. Her name is T. She says, I'm 24. I'm a 5'3" princess, only interested in well-respected, generous gentlemen. Chivalry isn't dead. No hookups, drama-free. Boy, she sounds high maintenance to me, doesn't she to you? I think so, but let's continue to move on, shall we? They say, what does high maintenance mean on dating apps? High maintenance is a slippery and yet sticky category defined by physical and behavioral characteristics. That's the big one right there. In her profile photos, the high maintenance girl, as she's often described by the men and women in my research, was likely wearing too much makeup or form-fitting clothes. She would be dressed for a party or going out. She would be pouting at the camera, Instagram style, or toting an expensive handbag. That's part of it. The other one is what they expect from men. High maintenance means you need to show me a good time. I expect you to take me to and pay for dinner. I expect you to lavish me with gifts, and that's not a far cry from reality based on the dating apps. Once tarnished with a high-maintenance brush, it was difficult to be perceived as otherwise. Behaviorally, she was perceived as difficult. Right. That's right there. She's perceived as difficult. She wanted things and expected a high standard. There was a labor involved in dating her and therefore a financial burden. As one male participant indicated, there are plenty of super attractive girls on dating apps, but I can't afford that sort of thing. It's too high maintenance. Women within my research sought to present themselves as pretty but relatable. They didn't want to intimidate a potential match through their images and behavior. Now, this article is literally, a day or two old? 1 day ago. 1 day ago. When were the participants in the survey from? 1964? I mean, she doesn't want to be perceived as difficult? I mean, give me a break. They say here, one female participant indicated a high-maintenance woman expected too much. Well, again, isn't that most of women today? The need to appear attractive and yet not high maintenance meant women had to conduct a balancing act. The balancing act, if you ask me, is they're high maintenance. They just want to come across as not high maintenance. That's likely the truth of it. There was a kind of effortless, pretty nonchalance required. Haven't seen that in forever. I have not seen that in forever on dating apps. One girl said, now, again, this is not all of them, but this is, again, a vast majority. So it sounds like they found the small segment in rural America where you might find the everyday girl. One person says, my everyday look is an oversized tee and very comfy clothes, but on my profile there's a festival picture where I'm obviously done up, and there are 2 other photos where I'm with friends. I did feel the pressure where you should at least look pretty, but at the same time, you need to look relatable. So I guess at the same time, people aren't intimidated to approach you. There is that pressure. You need to look friendly enough, but pretty enough, but not too friendly at the same time. It's a weird line. Okay, but here's the thing. How is this any different from men? How is this any different from men? You see women out there that say, if you show a fish in your profile, forget it. If you're a shirtless photo, forget it. But then again, you see all the profiles that have these male-looking models that are all muscles and have a shirtless photo, and the women are like, ooh, I'd love to go out with him. It's like, really? There's some confusion there for men, too. So this isn't just a one-way street. But they continue on identity management. The kind of identity management is nothing new, particularly on social media. It's a distinctively pervasive for girls and young women who are generally, boy, I'm having a hard time reading today, aren't I? For young girls and women who are generally represented as having or being too little or too much, too fat or too thin, too clever or too stupid, too free or too restricted. And see, they're putting this blame on men, but it's not men that are going on there saying, oh, you're too this or too that or too this or too that. You know, they say here the line between sexiness and effortlessness, female participants felt the urge to look pretty, but also not so pretty that they might scare prospective matches off. Who are they talking to? Who are they talking to? This is literally known since 2011. In effect, women had to portray themselves as naturally pretty, capable, expectationless, fun-loving, and mostly important, easygoing, all to ensure a man's comfort. When? Where? Bring receipts. Because I got receipts. Here's another dating profile of the day. She's 32. She's in a tank top. She's got extreme makeup on, a little tiny tank top. I mean, look at that lipstick. It is as bright as the button on the page here. She's 32. She says, read my profile first. I'm new to this area. I moved from Kansas in October 2020. I need a change of scenery, also because I love the mountains. Okay. I enjoy cycling and traveling, hiking, camping, etc. My favorite foods is seafood and Italian. Okay, we're fine. The end, and we're good. Although men would still look at that and say, that's a lot of makeup and eyebrow and fake eyelashes. That's probably high maintenance. But here's where men go, oh, okay, she's really high maintenance. She says, I'm looking for a mature, generous man that understands how to take care of his lady and to have fun, meaning lots of adventures. I'm open to friendships as well. Well, why? Because she wants friends that want to kind of probably date her, but she says no to them, but she'd still like probably some benefits out of that relationship as well. She says, please don't waste my time. If you're a Capricorn or have small children, swipe left. Good luck getting my attention. Now, here's the thing. Remember just in the article we just read how women come across as not easygoing, as giving you a hard time, as problematic. Now, they didn't use the word problematic, but I sure as hell will. Good luck getting my attention. That girl's got a chip on her shoulders. Do you really think she's jumping through hoops trying to find the balance between being relatable and desirable? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so, sir.
So this is an article from The Adult Man. 12 signs she's a high-maintenance girl. Should you date her? And this was written in 2021 by Joshua Sigafus, and I kind of agree with him on a lot of this. Because when guys talk about, and I'll read the article here in a second, when guys talk about high maintenance, they're talking about headache. I do not want a headache from a woman. And whether it's she requires a lot of my money, a lot of my time, she's on social media all the time begging for attention, and I feel like there's always circling hawks of men surrounding her, and she validates that attention and thrives on it. That's very threatening to a guy, even a great guy, because he's always afraid some guy that's either better or different or more exciting or just a change will come along and excite her, and she'll dip off. And I don't have this article pulled up here either, but there's a soap opera star, and I don't watch soap operas, but it just came across news feeds as I was scrolling through. There's a guy that's in doing soap opera, and he's been doing it for several years, and he and his wife got pregnant, and then you hear they're getting a divorce, finds out his wife was pregnant with another dude's kid. This is, and again, I'm not saying soap opera star is like the end-all to be-all, but, I mean, he's an actor. He's on TV. He obviously makes very good money if he's been doing soaps for years and years. And even he got some other dude to sweep in. And guys want women they can trust and women that aren't seeking attention of others. All these things are high maintenance because they're things that she requires to be happy. And you either have to provide it all or someone else will. That's high maintenance to men. And I think that's why I say to some degree, a vast majority of young women today, or even women in general, are high maintenance because they need validation on social media or from other people. They need that attention. I'll read the article here and you'll see what I'm talking about. He says, what's a high maintenance girl? A high maintenance girl places strong emphasis on her own image, wants, needs, and desires. Her feelings are her highest priority, and she expects everyone around her to conform to her self-created worldview and value. This type of woman will obsess over her appearance, dress to the nines, and project her high social and cosmetic standards onto her partner. Now, how many of those things right there did he mention have something to do with money? None, really. It's just she thinks she's hot, hot crap. She thinks she's hot shit, and you're lucky to be with her. He says it's fine. She's fine as hell, but she requires a lot of work. Is that sounding like a girl you know? As a man who has dated his fair share of high-maintenance girls, I can definitely bring an element of experience to this conversation. The thing about women in the high-maintenance bracket is they come with powerful pros and cons. The biggest pro, they tend to be hot, fun, and fit. They spend enormous amounts of money and time on their appearance, and it absolutely shows. The biggest con, they come with a lot of upkeep, and in the long term, they often prove too much for most men to handle. And again, what do they mean by too much for most men to handle? Either men get tired of the other wolves sniffing around, getting ready to pounce on their girl, or they worry how much validation she needs, putting risque photos out or attention-seeking information out, and that's a lot of stress for a guy. A guy wants to know, and women want to know the same thing. Let's be honest. If a woman was dating a guy with six-pack and muscles and he was really good-looking, she'd want to know, hey, I don't want you, unless it's for a direct business, like the guy's a male model or something, I don't want you putting yourself out there. I'd like to feel secure in knowing that you're mine. But if a guy says that, well, see, it's being toxic and controlling. You're trying to control her. They say, but how will you know a high-maintenance girl when you meet her? You're about to learn from someone who's been in the trenches, my friend. She's self-obsessed. Now, how many women is this today? The number one indicator of a high-maintenance girl is her inflated sense of self-worth. She's legitimately obsessed with herself to the point where she struggles to understand or empathize with anyone else, except for her pets, of course. And to a point, this is understandable. She's probably hot. She's probably grown up being worshipped by men and has come to believe that she's God's gift to mankind. To her credit, she's probably fine as fire. She's used to getting everything she wants because men shamelessly pine after her. And there's no doubt that these experiences have created a firm basis for her self-obsession. Now, he wrote this in 21, but let's talk about how things in the 2020s, 2018, 2019, and onward have changed. Back in my day, yes, there were girls in high school and in college and that you meet in the real world that are smoking hot. And yeah, they got all the guys' attention. And yep, those women tended to choose the best of the best men. Understandable, they have their choice. Just like a very good-looking, successful, rich doctor, for example, might have his choice of women. But let's talk about this. She's grown up being worshipped by men and has come to believe that she's God's gift to mankind. How many women today believe that they're God's gift to mankind because they're worshipped on Instagram or on Facebook or on Twitter or whatever? The thing is, you can be a relatively average girl, and I mean not bad, I'm not talking in a negative way, but average body, average looks, but she puts on some makeup, she puts on a teeny bikini, she learns the poses that make, certain things stick out and other things tuck in a little bit to make her look at her best, and then she gets a bunch of, probably 1 through 5, less than average guys, all thirsting for her and saying, oh, you're so beautiful, and I wish I could get your number, and you're amazing, and how do I, thirst traps. And what happens? That blows up her ego. So now even average girls or even below average girls believe that they're God's gift to mankind. And what's this doing? It's turning average girls into high-maintenance women. They say she cares less about, or she cares about what other people think of her. This is a quote from Lao Tzu. Care about what other people think of you, and you will always be their prisoner. And I think that's very accurate. High-maintenance girls put in a tremendous amount of thought and energy into their appearance. They're makeup masters. They wouldn't be caught dead without their nails done and can always be trusted to wear the perfect outfit for every occasion. They care a great deal about what other people think of them, even though this costs them a great deal of time and money. They desire to be envied and worshipped, and to their credit, they usually succeed in this. That's narcissism. Now, how does this, she cares about what other people think? Since the invention of the internet, this has gone on roids. So many people care what other people think. So much so that if you look at some of the companies that have bowed to the whims of a very small minority on Twitter, companies are changing the way that they operate. Just look at Netflix and Disney and some of the other companies out there. It's a small percentage, but the companies themselves care about what others think, so much so that they will change the course of their business to try to keep them placated. Well, it's the same thing with young people. If they get enough pushback and they say, oh, I like XYZ, and they get a lot of pushback, they shut up. And with these women on there, again, they're being grown into becoming narcissists. She believes that she's settling for you. Boy, doesn't that sound like everybody on a dating app, guys? Again, go back to these, dating apps that I just was clicking on here. I mean, that's what this is. It's all about, please me, show me something special, guys. I wanted somebody that's 6'4" and makes 6 figures and 6 inches and 6'6" and all the sixes. Now they want an 8-pack and 8 inches, and they'll settle for high 6 figures. But a lot of women say that they act like they're settling for, because she says, well, I want a 6-foot guy and I want this and this and this, but you're not that. You're close enough, you'll do. How many women out there are getting married? Again, look at these 69% of women that are married are the ones that are filing for divorce, and 90% of educated women with college degrees are the ones filing for divorce. That means if you get married and someone files for divorce, it's her 90% of the time. And we know that's already over half. So this is from a quote from Carly Ciortino. She said, if you've ever had someone look at you during sex with this completely euphoric expression like, I can't believe I get to do this with you, you understand that dating down in terms of attractiveness can be a confidence boost in its own right. So this woman having a guy that's totally into her is a confidence boost. All these women need these confidence boosts. All of them do, constantly. And if you took away their phones or you shut off the apps, they would go bananas because they don't have the constant droning in the ear of how beautiful and amazing they are. But if you become her boyfriend, you're going to have to take up that chime too, and you're going to have to prove that you love her and care for her and she's more important to you than everybody else. They say high-maintenance girls understand exactly how desirable they are. And this has a link. I wonder what that opens to. Let me see what they're talking about here. The pitfalls of dating the freakishly attractive. Maybe I'll keep that. That's an opinion. Maybe I'll keep that. Maybe I'll go through here and find some of the links. Maybe there's some fun stuff to do a video on. Anyway, high-maintenance girls understand how desirable they are. And because of this, they're rarely found dating men they don't see as replaceable. Boyfriends, husbands usually serve as bank accounts and chauffeurs. High-maintenance girls feel that they're settling for the men they date. These men, gifted with her divine presence in their lives, should be content to serve her and make her happy. How many times are we seeing this now in movies, commercials, in social media? You know, that men should be happy that I'm with you because I am a woman and you're just a lowly man. Like, even that alone is being pushed through society now. She treats you like an errand boy. I'm not going to drill down on that. You understand that one. And she doesn't care about your timeline. And they have a quote here: always remember it's better to arrive late than to arrive ugly. Here's the thing: if somebody, and this is obviously being late, but here's the thing: if any woman shows up late, I give 5 or 10 minutes to, like, if it's a first date, I'll give 5 or 10 minutes once. And on the second date, if she does it to me again, I'll mention it. Hey, we were supposed to meet here at such and such time. This is the second time you're late. You're basically telling me that your time is more valuable than mine, and I don't care for that. I would appreciate it if you show up on time. Third time she's late, we're done. That's it. Like, I would wait there 5 minutes after, and then I'll just leave the venue. And then if she shows up, and I actually had this happen on a date once, where it was the second date, and I told her on the first date, I don't appreciate you being late. Like, please at least respect my time. And on the second date, she texted me saying I'm going to be 30 minutes late. I was already sitting. I was probably a pub or something like that. I was already sitting there. I calmly finished my drink, and I left. And later she texted me and said, where are you? I'm like, I left. And she was angry. She's like, why did you leave? I said, look, you're having me sit around 30 minutes late for a date, and it's our second date, and you were late to our first date. You don't respect my time. That's not somebody I want to date. Have a good night. And you stand up for yourself. Now, maybe in the long run, maybe she would have been a cool girl, but maybe she'll learn something. Maybe she'll learn something and not do it to the next guy. Yeah, obviously she would. But yeah, they talk about here her showing up late, not respecting your time. She doesn't have many good female friends. That to me is also a little... Now, if she doesn't have a lot of friends in general, and she has a very small cloister of 1 or 2 good friends, I'm okay with that. If she doesn't have any friends and it's a small cloister of 1 or 2 male friends and no female friends, big warning sign. But if they say one interesting thing to note about high-maintenance girls is that they won't have many close female friends. I once dated a girl who was so combatant and competitive towards other women, she literally couldn't keep more than 1 or 2 close female friends at a time, and even then those friends could only handle her in very short control doses. So let's see what else they say. She ended up having more guys as friends, and even those guys were actually just orbiters who secretly wanted to bang. High-maintenance girls are nearly impossible to please. And again, a lot of this, and he gives some examples, but a lot of this boils down to, look, guys want a relationship, they want the relationship to be easy. They don't want the woman to be easy. They want the relationship to be easy. Don't give me any headaches. Because what happens is there in every man's mind, there's an internal scale. And usually the more confident a man is, the more strong-willed he is, the more assertive he is, the less of a range that scale has. And weaker guys and guys that are just happy to have a girlfriend, or guys that maybe aren't very attractive, or guys that are pee-whipped, right? Their scales have a lot more leeway. And what I mean is this. Men will say, fun, she's feminine, fun, and freaky, right? She's good in the bedroom. I like to hang out with her. She's a pleasure to talk to. there's this. And then on the other side of that scale is she's late, she's a headache, she needs validation from other people, makes her kind of narcissistic. She's always arguing with me. She has to be right. All the problems in the relationship. Now, a guy that's in a very good, secure, happy place is the scales, they've got to go pretty much the good side and up. Once things go a little bit negative, the guy's going to start calling things out and questioning things. And let me just be fair. Strong-minded, and I don't mean strong-minded in a negative sense. I mean strong-minded, confident women, but not the boss bitches. Strong-minded, confident women should do the same thing. If a guy's acting a fool and he's not answering the phone and you think he's creeping around with other women, you got to call him out on that too. It's a two-way street. But it's the weak-minded kind of people that are just happy to be in a relationship that will give up way too much just to stay in that relationship, and that's a no-no. But unfortunately, with women like this, they will always disrespect your time, your space, your needs, your wants, your desires, because you're lucky to have them, because they're a woman, you see, and they've been told that they're pretty and awesome. She's needy. This is another one. We all know what a needy woman is. We don't need to go down through that one. She's controlling. Same thing. You need to do this, or, you need to do it my way or the highway type of thing. She's not a deep thinker. This one for me, I don't know. I don't know if that makes her high maintenance, but I have found usually the prettiest of people are not the deepest of thinkers. And I think maybe that's because they've always had things go easy in their life. Let me get it back to my article here. They've always had things easier in their life, and so they haven't had to have many struggles. And if you don't have many struggles, you don't have to do a lot of self-analysis or critique of yourself, and you can tend to be on easy mode, where those, maybe here's a good example. I know a lot of you don't play video games, but there's very easy video games that everybody can play and enjoy, and then there's very difficult games that only the most hardcore people that like punishing games, and it takes you 15 or 20 times attempts and 3 controllers to get through a boss fight on a video game. Well, if you have easy mode, it's Flappy Birds, it's Angry Birds, it's easy to play, no problemo. But if it's really, really difficult, only the most dedicated get in there, and you have to strategize. You have to say, okay, let me try it with this weapon and dodge. Okay, that didn't work. Let me try it this way, maybe with some magic and a shield. And you can try all these different things, and it takes a lot of analysis to win the game. Well, when you have life on easy mode because you're pretty or you're tall or attractive or naturally have a good body shape and big bobs and all that, life is easy mode. You don't have to learn how to deep think. Where if you're just an average person, hey, I did pretty well when I was dating when I was younger. Why? Because I developed my personality. I had lots of interesting topics to talk about. I would find creative ways to initiate a conversation, find ways to keep, and that's what a lot of the dating guys will tell you is, they call it the pickup kind of game. But what they're doing is they're teaching you how to be an interesting person so you can keep her attention. That requires thought. Why? Because you're less than average. So anyway, very pretty women. She's not a deep thinker. Let's see. And then never offers to split or cover the bill. This one is believe it or not, the thing is, the offer nowadays, here's what's funny. If she offers to split the bill and you say, no, I got it. Usually then the offering goes away. The offering goes away and she just assumes you're going to pay for it. Now here's the funny part. If she offers to pay half, split the bill or cover the bill, and you say, hey, what a nice treat. That's it. You'll never see her again. I mean, unless you're dating. But if you're to that point, then I think there should be a little bit of give and take. But most of the time, if you're just getting into dating or you're dating somebody, if she offers and you take her up on that offer, likely you're going to be single. See, women want to make as much or more than men. Women want to have the same job titles, the same responsibilities as men. But then when it comes to paying the bill, they want him to pay because it shows he cares for her. Hey, how about having it go the other way around? You ladies are doing just as well as we men are. Let's see what else. She makes everything about her. Again, isn't that most of everybody today? And he said, should you date a high-maintenance girl? Yeah, she might be pretty and hot and everything else, but it's going to be a hell of a lot of a headache, I'll tell you that right now. And let's do the last dating profile of the day. Here you have a gal in a bikini that's literally just Band-Aids and dental floss. That's all it is. That's all that's hiding her body on here. She's 25. She says about me, don't try to impress me. I'm secure enough in myself that it's almost impossible. Don't try to impress me. I'm secure enough in myself that it's almost impossible to impress me. Okay.
Well, I'd love to stay and chat, but you're a total bitch.
Right there, high maintenance. She hasn't even talked about money yet. She's high maintenance. Of course, if you look at this photo, which I'll probably have to blur for YouTube, you'd think, wow, she's actually a dancer, isn't she? She probably dances for dollars. Looking at this outfit, yeah, definitely. Don't try to manipulate me. I'm better at it. Okay, so she's saying don't manipulate me because I'm better at it. I will be manipulating you. Okay, that's a high maintenance girl. She says if you listen to rap or country music before the year 1995, forget it. If you think you're a gangster or a cowboy, forget it. If you're not open to the infinite possibilities of the present moment, swipe. So left. So but that's don't try to impress me. Now she didn't mention anything in there about money. But what she says is don't try to be better than me. It's impossible. I'm already better than you. Don't try to manipulate me. I'm a better manipulator than you are. What guy wants to date that? But that is what men are talking about when they say high maintenance women. Women that are high maintenance, women that take a lot to please them. And really what they're saying is guys don't want women that are a headache. They don't want women that are going to cost them a lot of money or give them a hard time or that are a headache. And so when we go back to this, original article here, let me bring it up here, and they say, the truth of a balancing act for women that women face on dating apps, all to ensure a man's comfort. What they're really doing is they're trying to hide. I think a lot of them are trying to hide how high maintenance they actually are, and it's a balance of how many steps do I need to jump through to hide how high of maintenance I am? Because, I have 1,000. You guys submit so many. I have thousands of dating apps that women are like, you must be this, and I am this, and I'm special, and I'm a queen, and you need to pay for special stuff. Like, there's so many of them out there now. And granted, yes, there are your average everyday girls out there that maybe are trying to say, hey, how can I come across as attractive but not needy? Well, or not a beach or whatever. Well, dudes are doing that too. Guys want to come across as fun, friendly, relatable, funny, interesting, but also, manly, strong, whatever. But they have to frame it in a way that makes it look like women have to do all the work just to get us lowly men interested. Yeah, right. We know the truth. Guys, if you enjoy my work, join me over here on betterbachelor.locals.com. I've got a free forum website. We do, we've got a bunch of memes. I do extra content over there where I talk about political stuff and just other topics that I can't put on YouTube. And I just screw YouTube on all that stuff. Anyway, guys, we'll leave it there. We'll see you in the next one. And remember, look, a lot of women are just headaches nowadays. And guys are finding, hey, something like what she brings to the table isn't the same as the headache she gives me. And I'd just rather skip the headache.